Hi, this is Thalia MK at Law 2.0 Conference Dubai Winter 2022, and I have amazing and beautiful Ms. Shaina Jones Magrone. She is a founder and managing attorney at Artisan Law PC. Thank you so much for being here with us, and she has been awarded for outstanding leadership. Congratulations for it. Please tell us about you and your company.
Well, first, let me just say I am so incredibly excited to be here. What an amazing place to have a conference at in Dubai. So, my name is Shaina Jones Magrone, and I am the founder and managing attorney of Artisan Law, where we specialize in brand protection, helping clients with their business needs and intellectual property needs, as well as asset protection, helping clients with their estate planning and business succession planning.
So, sorry to cut you. So, is it only for companies who are like physical, or is, social companies, social media brands? Are you dealing with both of them, or only specific?
No, absolutely dealing with brands that are in the digital space because that's the world that we live in. Whether you're physical or just digital, if you don't have that presence, you're not really doing business or you're not built to do business moving into the next phase of the world we're in. So I love working with my influencers,
The influencers, yes, they are like a topic of nowadays. But what problem do you think? What is the biggest problem or the cause of getting the brand name for youngsters or people who are becoming an influencer or person or a housewife who wants to do something beside being a housewife? What are the key pointers to keep in mind to make sure their brand is authentic and to make sure they stand out and they own it?
So that's an excellent question. I think that there are a couple of things. So, first, I think it's about authenticity. You really have to, I think, do a lot of the inner work to see really what is authentic to you. What do you really want to bring to the world? I said this yesterday when I was on the panel. There's a saying that there's nothing new under the sun. So everything that is has already been created, but there can be many iterations of an excellent idea. So just because you've seen something out doesn't mean you can't bring something new to it. You have to bring your own flavor. So starting from that authenticity and bringing your own flavor, the other thing that I would say is really taking the time to create an appropriate business plan. I know as a creative person myself, and I know for a lot of people who own business and want to have their creative space, there's a rush to jump out into the marketplace. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I get it, right? You're energized. You want to make it happen. But having that strategic plan for how you're going to budget, who you're going to be marketing to, where you want this company to go or this brand to go is so incredibly important. And in doing that, one of the main things that you want to make sure you focus on is how are you going to protect your intellectual property, your brand? Have you taken the time to do a search so that to see if your brand name is actually already in use by someone else so that you don't go and put all this work into production and then you can't even use the name that you're trying to build upon?
I want to, sorry to cut.
Of course.
So, on this note, for an example, I have a brand and you have a brand. We both are very similar in names and in the product, but I have never seen your work as I lacked the search or you lacked the search to
Right.
find about it. When the product is already out,
Yeah.
how is that situation handled?
Well, that can be a really unfortunate situation.
For which company? How
For
do you decide?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can be a really unfortunate situation for the company that has not filed with the federal authority for intellectual property. So,
What if both of them have, filed it? How do you decide who gets to keep it?
okay, so in your situation, let's assume that two brands have filed. They're both very similar, both in the same category. What's really going to take precedence is whose application was in first, right? First come, first serve. Now, let's also say this. One of the most amazing things about brand protection, and particularly, I mean, the international scope, right? There are 45 classes that work across the world, is that, there is the possibility of having a brand in the same class, and there may be a way to differentiate. Simply because you've received a refusal doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. In addition, there may also be a way for you to have a form of a coexistence with the brand that's already out. So, I think what we're really dealing with is, I try to counsel clients to always let's do the best to do the work on the outset so that we avoid the heartache on the end. So get your search done. See what's already out in the marketplace.
But it can be like if we can have similar product, but you live in the north and I live in the west, so we can have the same product and coexist. I believe that can happen if both parties are available and okay with it. So one thing I always comes across my mind nowadays, as social media is a thing and in being an influencer is a thing, not everybody have that thing in them, like they don't have it what it takes to go ahead in life. How, and they think it's easy money, easy fame, easy popularity. How, what advice would you give to them that, understanding what your brand is, product is, but if you don't have one, you just want to be an influencer and post pictures and to earn money, what advice would you give them as you deal with a lot of brands who are potential, who have a potential in them, and who doesn't have a potential in them?
Right. So I want to take one step back. So in regard to your last point, if you have a brand that's in a different location in a different country, particularly there is a thing in the United States called common law trademark rights. So if you've never filed and someone beats you to the trademark office, their brand goes through, there may be a situation where you have regional rights. And then that brand that files has rights in basically every other location. All right? So there's a lot of nuance that goes on with trademark protection, whether it's common law or federal. So let's get to your question at hand, influencers. So I got to hand it to influencers. They just pop out the box and they get it going and they make it happen and they don't and they don't care and they do an excellent job at it. And I think they really do show a lot of more seasoned professionals the value in taking action. So what I would say to them is this. I still think a lot of the same things hold. I think it's about authenticity. I think it's also about trying to build for the future, right? What are you really looking to create and cultivate so you can have a bit of a long-term vision? Maybe there are certain things you really don't want to post. Maybe there are certain things that you want to structure a little bit differently. And then in conjunction, and I say that in the sense that you want to maintain the image that you want to have, because you may just be posting pictures now, but at some point that may lead to brand endorsements. It may lead to sponsorship deals, and you want to make sure that the face that you're putting forward is the face that's going to be viable for those deals. And then I think it also goes to learning about business. All of this is about business. That's the underpinning.
I believe you also deal with cosmetics or yourself, like when it comes to branding, and that's the reason she have a really beautiful and colorful personality. So tell us, like, as you deal with all kind of which kind of brands you think are kind of the future of our future?
So I think the brands that are the future are ones that have a message. They're ones that stand for something. We're in a culture where people want brands that identify with their ideals. I mean, the base, of course, is having an amazing product. It needs to do what it's supposed to do. But people also want a company that is going to have values and ideals that they can identify with. So, for example, when I shop, of course, for me, with beauty brands, are they cruelty-free? Are they creating their brand sustainably or as sustainably as possible? Do they have a brand story that I can identify with in conjunction with it being an amazing product? So what can you do to protect the earth, to increase the level of empathy that we have for humankind? And how can you tell us who you are and show us who you are? I think that's the future.
That's beautiful. So you have been honored with an award for your good work, for your leadership. And after all that of accomplishment, what pressures do you feel are, or how does it feel to be accomplished for something you've been working hard for?
Well, first, I want to say that the acknowledgement is just amazing, and it is really just a stamp of approval to continue on with good work. And it is really just a driving force to continue to be visible, to continue to educate. I do a lot of work with educating clients and educating the community. So continuing to educate, to move forward and make sure that business owners understand how to move their brands forward and protect themselves. And the families and business owners that I work with understand how to translate that wealth that they're creating into generational wealth for their families.
Thank you so much. And I would like to, first of all, congratulate you. And if I want to collaborate with you and I need your help or advice or just ask for your fashion sense, please tell us how can I reach you?
So I am so incredibly reachable. So incredibly reachable. So you can find me on Instagram personally under shaina.jones.esquire. My business has a handle also at Artisan Law Firm. I'm doing, like I said to others, much more work under my own name. You got to be your own brand. You can find me on Facebook under my name, as well as under Artisan Law, as well as on LinkedIn. And I think I'm on one other one too, but I'm there.
She's everywhere. That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time. I hope, and it's an honor for us to meet people like you who are not only just doing the work for themselves or just creating the brand name, but educating people to save themselves from any future problems or hurdles. Thank you so much, and be your own brand. Do something for yourself, and if you want to stand out, you need to do it now. Thank you so much, and be colorful as she is. She's an inspiration. Thank you so much. Congratulations, and this is Talia MK signing off.